me to welcome you to the third lecture in our year-long lecture series on the Congo, called The Congo, Reclaiming Its Destiny. And the person who was to come to introduce Dr. Bamlango is not going to be able to come because of a medical issue. It's the chair of the lecture series and conference, Eyama Bokamba from Champaign-Urbana, is not going to be able to be here. He sent me his introduction because he had already prepared a very nice introduction. So I'm going to give Professor Bokamba's introduction for Dr. Bamlango. I wanted to just first thank all of our sponsoring units. They include the School of Literatures, Cultural Studies, and Linguistics, the Department of African American Studies, the Department of Anthropology, Department of French and Francophone Studies, History, the Honors College, International Studies Program, Political Science, and the group Congo Nova, a group of Congolese intellectuals, Center for Research on the Congo, and the student group Invisible Conflicts from Loyola University in Chicago. On behalf of all of my colleagues in the series organizing committee, it gives me a great pleasure and honor to introduce our speaker for this month, Dr. David Bamlango, a native of the Democratic Republic of the Congo and a resident of this great city. Dr. Bamlango was born and grew up in Kivu in eastern DRC, where he initially pursued and completed an associate's degree in law in 1999 at l'Université Libre des Pays des Grands Lacs in Goma, DRC. He subsequently went to France to complete a licence, also in law, at l'Université Lille 2 in 2001, and then moved to l'Université Paris 1, where he obtained his LM, or master's degree in law, in 2003. Not satisfied with these 3 degrees in law, he came to the United States and pursued a Juris Doctorate at Chicago-Kent College of Law, which is associated with the Illinois Institute of Technology in 2007. As you can certainly conclude, Dr. Bamlango is not only a devotee of law, but also one who has been trained and is conversant in many law traditions, including that of the DRC, France, and the United States. And we could not have invited a better qualified speaker to address this month's topic. In addition to this rich legal training, Dr. Bamlango is a typical Congolese multilingual intellectual who is fluent in several languages, including English, French, Kinande, Kiswahili, and Lingala. His intellectual activism is also exemplified in his service as director or trustee to several Congolese-based civic and charitable boards, the governing board of the Episcopal Charities and Community Services, Exodus World Service and Congo Initiative Incorporated, Center for Applied Legal Studies of the Catholic University of the Graben in Butembo, DRC, and the governing board of his alma mater in the DRC. He is also past chairman and president of the Congolese community of Chicago, and I just learned will soon become the current president of the Congolese community of Chicago. Currently, Dr. Bamlango is an associate at D.L. Piper's Corporate and Finance Group, based in Chicago. He focuses in practice on leverage finance, debt capital markets, and structured finance transactions. In his leveraged finance practice, Dr. Bamlango represents agents, lenders, and borrowers in domestic and cross-border secured and unsecured lending transactions, debt restructuring, and workouts. Dr. Bamlango's debt capital markets and structured finance practices involve the representation of issuers, sponsors, underwriters, and asset managers in project bonds, securitization, and other private placement transactions. His cross-border practice concentrates on emerging markets, and he has covered transactions in Latin America, Southeast Asia, Eastern Europe, and Sub-Saharan Africa. Previously, he worked as an equity analyst for an investment management firm in Chicago. And finally, let me indicate that Dr. Bamlango has authored and co-authored 7 publications that have appeared in professional journals, edited books, and in newspapers, including most recently Taking Stock of NAFTA's Chapter 11 Expropriation Jurisprudence, which appeared in Yearbook on Arbitration and Mediation. And he was a co-author of International Legal Developments and Review in 2008, which appeared in the International Lawyer. Let's welcome Dr. David Bamlango.